The Man Who Loved Children, by Christina Stead, is a complex and intense novel that explores the dynamics of a deeply dysfunctional family. Published in 1940, the book is often hailed as a modern classic and praised for its psychological depth and vivid portrayal of family life. The novel focuses on the Pollit family and is primarily told through the eyes of Louisa, the eldest daughter, as she comes of age in an oppressive household. The story begins by depicting the chaotic, suffocating atmosphere of the Pollit household. Sam Pollit is a man who believes himself to be a perfect father. He is always surrounded by his children, whom he calls his little animals. He adores them, speaks to them in a childish language he invents, and wants nothing more than to be the center of their world. To outsiders, he might seem like a kind, loving father. But in reality, Sam's love suffocates his children. His affection is all about him. His need for attention, control, and validation. Henny, Sam's wife, is the opposite of Sam's cheerful, overly optimistic persona. She is embittered, frustrated, and trapped. She married Sam, thinking he would provide for her, but his lofty ideals about the world and his inability to make a decent living have left the family in constant financial strain. She despises Sam's endless optimism and cannot bear his presence in the house. Henny lashes out in anger, often in cruel and vicious ways, particularly toward Louisa. Louisa, Sam's eldest daughter from his previous marriage, stands on the edges of this whirlwind. She watches, listens, and suffers silently. She is a bright, observant girl, but she feels utterly unloved. She craves approval, especially from her father, but also feels a deep, growing resentment toward him. His love feels false to her, and she begins to see how his affection is more about his own self-image than genuine care for his children. At the same time, Henny's hatred for Sam spills over onto Louisa. Henny cannot stand the sight of her stepdaughter, who reminds her of the previous marriage. Louisa becomes the target of Henny's bitterness and cruelty. This emotional abuse isolates Louisa further, making her feel like she has no safe space in the world, not at school, where she is awkward and ridiculed, and not at home, where she is neglected and scapegoated. As the novel progresses, the cracks in the Pollit family grow wider. Sam continues to live in his fantasy world, oblivious to the damage he is causing. He believes he is a great man, full of high ideas, but he can't even provide basic necessities for his family. He rambles about his grand ideas, filling the house with his exhausting energy, never noticing the misery that surrounds him. Henny, meanwhile, sinks deeper into despair. She is isolated, financially dependent on Sam, and despises every moment of her life. Her only hope is the inheritance she dreams of from her wealthy relatives, but that hope never materializes. She becomes more erratic and violent, and her emotional breakdown plays out in front of the children, who are powerless to stop it. Louisa's journey throughout the story is one of painful self-realization. As she matures, she comes to see her father for who he really is, a man blinded by his own narcissism. She no longer idolizes him, and even starts to rebel in small ways. Louisa also begins to understand that her stepmother's cruelty stems from her deep unhappiness, but this realization offers little comfort. Louisa's sense of isolation becomes more profound as she navigates her adolescence in such a toxic environment. She is growing up, but instead of being nurtured, she is emotionally abandoned by the people who should love her most. The family's financial situation continues to decline, and the tension in the house reaches a breaking point. Henny's mental state deteriorates rapidly, and Sam is too wrapped up in his delusions to notice. Their arguments become more vicious, and the once barely contained hostility spills over into outright emotional violence. Henny feels utterly trapped, with no escape from the life she loathes. Finally, it is a death that Sam cannot comprehend, still wrapped up in his delusions of love and family, while the children, especially Louisa, are left to pick up the pieces. Henny's death marks the collapse of the Pollit family. Sam, in his inability to face reality, continues to believe in his idealized vision of himself as the loving father. But the truth of the matter is laid bare. His love was never real love. It was control, manipulation, and blindness to the emotional devastation he caused. Louisa, on the other hand, is left to deal with the psychological scars. Her coming of age is not a joyful journey of self-discovery, but one shaped by abandonment and emotional neglect. As the novel ends, Louisa is a survivor, but she carries the weight of her family's dysfunction with her. The Man Who Loved Children is a dark, psychological portrait of a family in crisis, where love is twisted into something damaging, and where the innocent suffer in silence. Through Louisa's eyes, we see the impact of parental narcissism, the poison of resentment, and the emotional fallout of a broken family. It is a story of a child's painful journey to adulthood, in a house where love is warped and cruel, making Christina Stead's novel a powerful exploration of family dynamics at their worst. Thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the story from the novel The Man Who Loved Children by Christina Stead. So, stay tuned to our channel for more interesting stories like this. Do not forget to like, share, and comment on the video. Also, those who have not subscribed yet, please click the video's subscribe button. Visit our channel www.youtube.com/@weaversnest. For more information, visit the website www.weaversnest.org.